Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Championship Series, Austin, as we get ready to kick off our day of StarCraft action as we make our way to crown the second WCS Circuit champion of 2018. I'm Nathanius, back again, joined by my boys on the desk to the left, Rotterdam. Our first match coming in, feeling good, feeling fine?
Of course, it's going to be a fun one because it's going to be Snute versus Nice. Now, Nice is obviously known as... Why are you giggling at?
Nothing.
Why are you giggling, Jeff? Share your fun. What happened?
You sure?
Yes.
You don't want to know.
I look tired.
No.
No.
They put a little bit of makeup in your eyebrows, and I think it's...
I got a tweet about it already.
Oh, really? Is it,
Yeah.
is it that good?
If you...
Fine.
I got one too, don't worry.
I love it. Like, let's just get it on. Let's just get it out of the way,
It's
Jeff.
okay. I like it. It's not your fault.
All right, so Snute versus Nice is going to be a fun one. Nice, obviously, a little bit like Has. We all know those crazy builds of the Taiwanese protoses that we see every now and then. I think it's going to be a good one to kick things off.
Yep, and of course, still with me, Jeff in Control Robinson. How are you feeling? How are your eyebrows game doing? You
No,
good?
she didn't touch my eyebrows. This is all... It's all me. I'm excited as well. This is... as Kevin said earlier, it's been kind of a bit of a gap between these two WCS stops, and then almost immediately we have Spain, and then we go to Montreal, like pretty bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
But up until now, there's been a bit of a lull. So I'm interested because pro gamers are misinformers, man. You hear a lot of stuff from them. They're like, Zerg's ridiculous right now. And then I see Neeb like murder a lot of Zergs and stuff. So I want to see where these guys really stand. We haven't heard from Special in a while. Some of these guys have been training in Korea. A lot of them qualified for GSL and had a good fight. So I'm pumped.
All right,
What are you laughing about now?
Yeah, there's nothing to laugh about. We're going to take a
obviously.
look while these guys are giggling. We're going to take a look at the group that we're getting into as we are in group stage 2. As we have Silky,
Look at Nate's eyebrows.
Snute, sort of, and Nice. Yeah, that's adjective applicable in Control?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
our first match is going to be Snute and Nice. How do we think about the rest of this group, though? Sort of and Silky are both pretty strong players.
Sort of, obviously spent a lot of time over in South Korea, even qualified for GSL Code S twice, I believe, already. So he's obviously up there, but Silky is one of those American Zergs that you really shouldn't sleep on. He's been playing a lot on the Korean ladder. I know that he's not that well known on a stage like this, but if he would somehow come up here and surprise, maybe take a ZVZ Decider series against either Snute or sort of, is he the favorite? No, absolutely not. But should we count Silky out? No way. That kid is actually pretty damn good.
I'm excited because almost every WCS stop we have, to Kevin's point, that one North American or European player where we're like, we're really not sure about this guy. It's a bigger stage. I'm sure they're not going to do much. And then they really impress us. Is that Silky? I don't know. But this is the time to do that. And this group's pretty okay for that as well. ZVZ is something... I don't know. I don't know if it's fair to say it's fallen off a little bit. When I used to think back of Snute, who's like the dominant 1 or 2 ZVZ players, I now think of him as kind of replaced by some of these kind of newer age European Zergs that are winning ZVZ.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a big story, I think, about the European region is the coming up of these Zergs. We talked a lot about a Laser and then Cyril last year, and now Cyril is considered to be the king of the crop. Before we get too much further into things, we are going to talk a little bit about the maps as well. For those of you maybe just coming back into watching StarCraft, the season rolled over. We've got a lot of new maps, new fun ones.
Yeah.
I know I'm sure you guys have something interesting to say, but one I'm the most excited to see. I like Redshift a lot of funny games I've had on that one.
I think Jeff really loves Dreamcatcher.
I do.
Yeah?
Something about, it's just the shape of it, kind of the symbol, it just really speaks to me. It's something about rebirth, new birth, just like the essence of life is in that map. You know what I'm saying? There's something about swimming up there and just kind of catching it all.
I like the map, Paul, and some of the maps are a little funky. Obviously, Redshift with the gold.
Yeah.
I
like it though.
I think the gold is a trap on that map. Like, every time you take the gold, you end up losing. It seems like, you know, take your gold, it's a pocket expand, and then it just never works out. But I think this is a really fun map, Paul. I haven't really had any experiences that I'm like, oh my god, this map is rough. I think a lot of people complain a little bit about Darkness Sanctuary.
The 4-player map, they're going to complain about that.
Yeah.
But my point is, I like the difference this map pool has. It has a very different feel to it. And a lot of times when you get experimental and different that way, there's going to be gross imbalances, but to Kevin's point, so far we really haven't had that much. There are definitely maps that favor one race or the other. It's always going to happen. But for the most part, we're going to see maybe all 7 of these maps throughout the weekend, which is like something that never happens.
Because normally we always have that one map out there that we're like, oh my god, we're going to see it. Like Paladino Terminal, Dash and Terminal, Biogenesis. But I don't think this map pool really has one map that truly stands out as like, oh, we're never going to see that map.
Okay, so then what's the map that we are going to see a ton, probably still? Catalyst?
Asset Plan, Catalyst, and I think Lost and Found. I think people are very fond of that map.
All right, cool.
Especially in PvP, it's good for cannon rushes.
Okay, I'm out of my depth on that one.
Oh, no, it's super good. It's imbalancedly good.
Yeah.
Okay, we can dive into that one a little bit later. Let's talk a bit about the match that we have coming up while the players are getting ready on stage. Snute and Nice. We talked about how Snute, when we compare him to the other Zerg players, is not considered quite to be the cream of the crop, but he has these moments. We've seen him put up these awesome performances.
But also, anytime you talk about Snute as not being cream of the crop or whatever, that's exactly when Snute starts powering up his blonde superpowers, and that's when he strikes. It's when he's the favorite. It's when people expect him to dominate a tournament that I feel like he, quote-unquote, disappoints, which still means he makes it to the semifinals and has a great showing. It's just for Snute, we expect him to win everything. He is still the highest-grossing foreigner. This is a good match. It's a good barometer of a match, too, right? Because Nice comes from a scene where we don't see those guys as much. They do play a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more cheesy, which is kind of tough because I feel like Snute is the cooler of that matchup. To try and cheese and be aggressive to Snute is almost certain death.
What I see in this map, or this best of 3, is a couple of air units flying into not 3 or 4 queens, but 39 queens, all with 125 energy and a bunch of transfuses going down. I think this is going to be a fun series for the viewers out there. But I agree with what Jeff said, but it is weird because we're almost talking about Snute like he doesn't have it anymore. Well, he made it to the global finals last year. He made it to 2 finals. And even in the first WCS event of this year, Leipzig, he made it to the quarterfinals. For some people, that is an amazing run. That is oh my God, let's see where else he can go. And for Snute, we're like, yeah, it's not the Snute that we've seen, but Snute is still up there. He's just not as dominant as he was before.
With the competition, the comparison that gets drawn, I mean, we talk about players like Cyril and Laser just standing up so high, but Snute is still a good player.
Very good.
I think a lot of people are very excited, of course, always a fan favorite to watch Snute come in and play. He brings his own little flair. As you guys mentioned, he likes to take things slow from time to time.
Yes.
Any other thoughts? Do we know a whole lot about what Nice is bringing to the table?
He has funky builds. You just don't know. Even if you scout his main, you have no idea what's happening because he may pretend like he's opening up standard, but then it's not. Hidden bases is something that's absolutely possible, especially on a newer map pool like this. I feel like the first few weeks of a new map pool, you see more hidden base strategies than you see down the road. I think this is going to be kind of a weird one. We'll probably see a couple of timing-oriented attacks, but with 44 probes and then a bunch of Stargate units.
He's just dangerous. Snute, as good as he is, and as good as he is on the defense in particular, it's one of those things where against Nice, you could just lose. You can be the better player, but he just gets one under you. That hidden base just goes for too long and you die. Or DTs show up, not in 2 or 3, but 7, 9 DTs show up, and you're like, well, I wasn't ready for that.
All right.
That's the kind of player he is.
Yeah, M canning DTs. We're going to get into that in just a second. We can talk a bit more about the match, but let's hear. We have the players about to be introduced on stage, and here Smix is up there. It's hot outside. Is the stage fired up yet, Sue?
Not quite yet. It's still a little bit cool, but I'm sure once this match gets underway, it's going to be very hot up here. But
can't wait.
Exactly. I'm so ready for this first match, but it's not just me. Are you guys ready? That's what I love to hear. It's time to bring out the players for our first match of the day. It's going to be Norway versus Taiwan. It's Snute and Nice.
Gentlemen, our first series here, the World Championship Series in Austin, is about to begin. Some Zerg vs Protoss action. Snute, we've talked about this guy forever. Looks a little exhausted.
I think he just arrived either this morning or very late last night. I think he had a lot of delays in his journey.
There was some bad weather.
Yeah, Snute is obviously, I think he's a little tired.
He's a handsome devil, though. I like the haircut short there. It's a good-looking guy. And then here we have Nice as well. A bigger guy than I expected.
I'd like to point out that Nice had a surprisingly good performance in that first WCS top of the year. We've never had a Taiwanese player actually make it to the global finals, but it would be, Nice, he's obviously not necessarily on track, but he got a bunch of WCS points in Leipzig. In group stage 3, he was in a group where no one thought he would make it out. It had Showtime, Harstem, and Kalazur, 3 of the stronger European players. Well, Kalazur obviously is South American.
Kalazur?
But yeah. It's weird, but Nice actually made it out of that group. He lost his first series, but then he beat Kalazur in the lower bracket match, and he killed Harstem in a deciders match after he lost that first best of 3. That is a really impressive group to make it out of. So we're not going to count him out, but he's also obviously an underdog against all these scary Zergs.
No Zergs, though. Yeah. And Snute, I mean, it's the Europe's known for a lot of things.
Let's focus on Snute for now.
They produce some good players, but they produce some darn good European Zergs. And right here is one of the best in the business. In fact, on the business side of things, he is the best. He's earned the most money over the largest span of time. We've got some ridiculous stats flying around, by the way. Earlier we were talking about Nurchio, 7,000 tournament games played. Excuse me? That's ridiculous. But Snute here, has amassed a small fortune off of winning against these kind of nerds. And I think Nice is a great player. I like Kevin's little WCS commentary. Like, he can do it, he can do it, he can... No, not against
he had a great run. I mean, he made it out of a group that's very tough. Kalazur, Showtime, Harstem. It's not good.
I think on this map, I agree with Kevin. I think there's a lot that Nice could do.
He beat Kalazur, didn't make it here. He beat Harstem, who I think everyone beats Harstem to advance out of their group. Is probably one of the ways that goes, right?
I have nothing.
I'm not. Caleris isn't hosting. I'm not.
They didn't
calling
get
him
Kevin's
the
face. Kevin's face is perfect for this. Like,
I tried to imitate Jose Mourinho, but I'm not that good at it.
Nice on the other side, of course. You were talking about that. He's had some of these good performances, but in control, you seem pretty.
He's dead.
You seem pretty dead set on Snute.
He's dead. Snute, and it's exactly how Kevin said too. I'm excited for this moment in time where like he throws his first hallucinated Phoenix in there. He's like, what do I got? Queens are just like, kill it all of it, kill it. And like 30 Queens drop it down. He's like, oh.
I hope that these two play against each other on the redshift, by the way, because I can see Snute taking the gold on the other side of where you expect people to take it, near the Zelnaga Watchtower, and then you're going to get the March of the Queens. Like, this is going to be probably a pretty hilarious series, and I agree with Jeff. Like, I think Snute is the favorite, but you cannot just stand here and count Nice totally out. If he made it past that group stage, that was very tough in Leipzig. Yeah, you can do that, but you know, I've got credibility.
I'm special.
Give me a win condition then for Nice. What is the most important thing he'll do in this best of 3 if he wants to beat Snute and get out?
Well, it is his game plan, which is nice. To give Kevin some credence to this is like, go crazy. Just go suit. Like, Snute's going to double down on being safe. Snute is not going to Nidus Worm and win one of these games. I would be very surprised if he did. It's going to be Snute turtling to 3 bases, turtling to 4, getting to Hive. And if Nice can, like, quadruple expand or, like, go proxy carrier, something crazy like that, and Snute's just playing too safe, Snute can die.
I think if Nice wants to win this series in either 2 or 3 games, if it goes to 3 games, he needs to play 3 completely different styles in all 3 matchups. He cannot do the same thing twice and expect Snute to beat Snute with the same build twice. So he needs to have multiple tricks up his sleeve. He can't be predictable here.
Are there any aggressive Protoss builds you guys like versus Zerg then? The mass charge lot build, the 9DT M Canning build.
Well, the mass charge lot, that would be a thing that's a little bit close to the meta, and that's where I would wonder if like Nice can out execute Snute, maybe not so much. But yeah, air stuff's good. People talk about carriers. We kind of often talk about them as a little bit of a meme, but no, they're just really strong. A lot of these top European Zerg players can still. I mean, I was watching Roddy stream against a TLO not too long ago, and TLO looked a little bit lost against it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think you're actually onto something there, because a lot of these Protoss players, they would open up with charge load, but then they also still have their gases right, and they're ready to go up to 3 bases with Archons. Like, if Nice would open up with a charge load build, it's going to be off probably 34 to 35 probes. That's it. He's going to be mining 0 gas, and it's going to be double prism, 8-gate charge load. Something like that could actually be possible, because that hits a little bit faster than your regular Archon Zealot harass, which Snute normally plays against.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, very much for your input. It is time to kick off the World Championship Series here at Austin. The game is ready. Let's get to it. It's Snute versus Nice.
Thank you so much, Nate. My name is Fear Dragon, and I am joined by Pig. How you doing today, Pig?
I'm doing great. You know, I love seeing Nate there taking his headset off after some great hosting on the desk, but we are about to hop into an incredible series, and there he is, the hero of Asgard himself, the lord of the Nordic afterlife.
Yeah, indeed, and he is, in fact, going to be spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of this map. We have our blue Zerg player. It is Team Liquid's Snute.
He's going to be, of course, facing off against the Protoss player. Down here in the bottom left-hand side, representing his sponsor, Africa, it is Nice.
Okay. So I know the desk was talking a little bit about this. Snute having a bit of a long journey, got stuck in Washington, D.C. overnight.
Yeah.
And in fact, he was so worried that he may not even have made it to his match on time. He arrived, I think, barely in the nick of time.
Yeah, I don't even know if he went to his hotel first.
He might still have his bags here, and that is never a great place to be, but Snute still managed to make it out of his group solidly, 2-0. He's sitting over here. I talked to him. He was saying, you know what, I think this is a good group for me. I think I can still make it work, and I think it might be because he's hoping there's going to be shorter games. Nice is known for being a little cheeky and cheesy.
Yeah, if there's one guy who can push through those sort of conditions, it's definitely going to be Snute. You know, he's the guy who has mastered staying up to all hours for different time zones for qualifiers. The amount of money he makes in online cups compared to other pro gamers is actually insane because he just is such a serious professional competitor. He's always so good at kind of maintaining his condition. This is something which is a bit out of his control, obviously, but definitely going to be interesting starting off here on Redshift, the crazier map in the pool, but both players just ignoring those gold expansions for now. No one wanting to take the risk of going for that base.
Yeah, really fascinating because I know there's been a lot of contention on what is going to be the most vetoed map in this map pool. And Redshift is what I think a lot of people were expecting, but the fact that Snute let this through shows that he might have a bit of confidence in this, even though it's a weirder map, and I feel like the weirder the map, the more awkward you're going to feel versus a player like Nice, who likes to throw out those super weird things. The Taiwanese scene just has its own meta.
I heard some people were calling him Macro Haas.
Yeah, he's kind of like if you're familiar with Haas, he is like Haas, but better because he can macro, and that makes him really scary for a lot of players. We do have a Twilight Council coming down right now for Nice. He has that first adept moving forward, just getting some basic scouting information as Snute has grabbed that third base. And you can see Nice, he's just moving forward. He wants to confirm whether the gold base was taken. Doesn't see it over there.
Yeah.
Next bet, I imagine he's going to go over to that other third.
Yeah, that's some really good scouting there. Just kind of checking everything that is going on. And he's going for the fast Twilight behind it. Adept will escape for now. As always, Snute, a master of droning. Somebody loves to push out those workers as hard as possible. But this Stalker is going to catch an Overlord. And nice pick up there, of course, going to push Snute's vision back into this corner of the map. Straight into Resonating Glaives.
Okay.
That's a fascinating choice. Something we don't see very often. One of the classic build orders in Legacy of the Void. 3-gate Adepts with those attack speed upgrades. Going to be aiming to hit with about 7 Adepts, usually about the 4-minute 40 mark. And this is something where Snute's building Spore Crawlers right now.
Oh, no.
He does not want to be doing that.
That Overlord pickoff was so key because now Snute has no idea what's actually going to be coming his way. He doesn't have any other Overlords that are super close by. He has some of the Lings on the right-hand side, but they can't see that the gas guys, the natural, are going to be a lot further delayed until just now.
He's dropping his Roach Warren, so that is important, but he's going to need to stop droning really soon. And oh, it's the old school style. Straight into double Stargate for Nice. So this is a style we used to see a lot from Trap, the Sky Commander Protoss. It is a style which has always been very good. I'm sure Rotterdam's excited seeing this. This is one of his favorites on the ladder as well. We see a lot of Overlords coming out for Snute. That's a good sign. He's saving money for Roaches. He knows what's coming as Zerglings has spotted it, but those Adepts already shading across the map. The Roach production only now beginning.
Okay, there's still one of the Spore Crawlers that was in production. It looks like the Spore Crawlers have finished up for Snute, so those are going to be kind of useful once those Stargates finish up. We'll see how he handles the Adept aggression, though, because as much as this is a little bit of a bait-and-switch attempt, you can still get a lot of damage done with these Adepts if your Zerg opponent is not careful.
Yeah, I mean, this is often what this build comes down to. Nice wants to get damage done, but he also wants to force an overreaction here from Snute. Already does get one drone, takes out a Roach. Is he going to commit? He's going to dive straight into the base. Very ballsy play from Nice.
Okay, the Adepts are starting to shade around. He's been able to keep a majority of them alive, but the Roach count is going to start to grow here. One more of the Adepts gets picked off. The Adepts do shade over to the third, but there's not too many drones there, and he has to back off. 4 workers worth of damage. How do you feel about that pick?
I mean, keeping the Adepts alive is the important thing. The threat is still there. I think Snute has locked down his defense near perfectly. And once again, another poke from Nice deflected. Snute did a good job of droning behind that, but you'll notice Nice is actually bringing another 6 Adepts across the map. He's joining them up and he's making Void Rays.
Okay.
It could actually work out so well. Notice how Snute's going for what looks like a sort of counterattack. He is building extra queens, though, which will help him prepare, but he's really got to make sure that wave of Adepts doesn't do any bonus damage to him.
Yeah, and he did a great job of holding off those Adepts, but I am curious about, having to lair around this time is obviously a lot later than you normally see it if you weren't facing off against Adept aggression, but here we go, the Adepts shade forward. Snute taking a moment before he actually ends up attacking any of these Adepts, and they might be able to get some more damage done.
This is actually such a dangerous move from Nice, but it is paying off big time. That is the sort of player Nice is. He's not afraid to take one of these calculated gambles with his assaults, and the damage rolling in, 8 worker kills, canceling that shade. He is now finally starting to get surrounded. and he's going to evacuate a few Adepts, but actually, no, it's just going to stay there.
Okay.
And that will go down. So Snute does end up stabilizing 48 drones to 46. Snute, though, maybe a little over-eager to counterattack. Often in this situation, you go across the map with your Ravages, your Zerglings, and you put on the pressure. You know that's not going to work well versus Ravi. It's a whole big clump of Void Rays.
This is where it gets really weird, though, because Nice is also moving across the map with his Void Rays, so he might not have them for the defense if there is a big attack, but no. Snute moves over to the Zone Logger Watchtower. He spots these out while the Lings are just poking in at the front. Full wall off coming here from Nice because he just knows he cannot let those Lings in. The Void Rays are going to be able to push back these Lings, and these Void Rays heading over to Snute's main base. I've just got to imagine this is where In Control has a big grin on his face.
Yeah, this is exactly what they were talking about in the desk. You're going to fly in with your air units.
There it goes.
Oh, man.
That was not quite as effective as Nice really wanted it to be.
Not at all. You really want to get a little bit of momentum. I mean, he can still rotate and potentially snipe a 4th base or something like that. But for now, is just going to wait for, of course, Dysix there, having a little bit of a hang. But so far, things are good for Snute. I mean, that was a very scary second wave of Adept pressure. Got 8 workers, but didn't get anything else. It didn't really force the lost mining time. There wasn't the chaos. Like, you can kill 8 workers, but at the same time, the drones are like hiding. They're running between bases, and it's a lot more damage. This wasn't that scenario. Snute only lost a little bit of mining time. So I feel like he's kind of stabilized here. And once you see someone commit to that many Void Rays are like flying roaches, Ravi. I feel like they just don't gain value over time. And since he's already got enough Queens out, there is a very narrow window of time here where Snute, I mean, if Snute can just defend this, Nice is in big trouble.
Okay, Queens are starting to come forward. One of the Queens did go down, and you can see Snute is just continuing to poke it at the front, forcing warpins of additional Adepts to try and hinder Nice's ability to make any other tech. He does have the double Robo coming out, though. And you know, if you get up enough of these Voiders, enough of these Immortals, you get up a lot of these power units, that's when things can just sort of get into this weird place where the Zerg player has been ahead for a really long time, but then they take one bad engagement, and that's when everything just starts crumbling down. So that's what Nice is hoping for, but Snute getting up his Hydra Den, getting up, is that Pathogen Glands?
Yeah, going to be going into Infest is such a cool way to deal with the Void Rays, right? I mean, they stack up a lot, and you're probably going to expect charge lots off the back of this Storm, right? And if you can fungal those units, it really knocks down their power. So not a bad utility upgrade. Here we go. Nice, just going to dive in on that 3rd, but there is so much transfuse energy, and those Queens going to chase those Void Rays off. Good evacuation by Nice.
Yeah, I do like that he's keeping the Void Rays alive, though, because he can go back in. You'd be surprised how quickly he can snipe off some of those hatcheries, because remember, as weird of a situation as this is, I don't think that Snute has actually gotten his 4th base up during any of this.
No, I mean, that's the hard thing, right? How do you get your creep to that 4th? And he's having to take this weird front one because the other ones are so exposed. But I guess if he can sit down there with the Queens, he will be able to protect it. There are still Zerglings kind of keeping some map presence. Neural Parasite on the way as well as 7 Infestors. So Snute here thinking about stealing those units. And it is double Immortal production, but we saw a Robotic Support Bay, and there we go. I was about to say, is it going to be Disruptors? Disruptors would actually be amazing versus Snute's composition, but Colossi, double Colossi production.
This is so old school from Nice, and I'm loving it. This is one of those things that, this is the way that I think Nice can maybe make something happen, is you just throw your opponent so far off. He might end up losing one of these Void Rays to the Queens. Keeps him alive, but he's going to be able to spot out the 4th, and oh, that's going to go down in an instant.
Yeah, doesn't even bother turning on the overcharge. Doesn't need to. That hatchery does get cancelled. I mean, we've got to say, of course, Snute did saturate 3 bases quite early. The main problem with not getting a 4th up is the gas limitation. We see Snute going for Hive, Infestors, Hydras, but he kind of, you know, the gas is always the shortage.
He doesn't know. He never saw the Infestation Pit with these Voiders, so he doesn't even know how dangerous a position he's in. A couple of Hydras also going to be joining forces, and there is the Fungal Growth. He lands in on a couple of these Voiders, slows him down, picks off one. The recall, interesting, and he does manage to save all of the remaining Void Rays, heals him up with a shield battery. But man, this is a scary situation for Nice now.
Yeah, that's a lot of Queens here up front and center. Queens and Roaches not going to take a lot of damage from Colossi. That's what really worries me about Nice's composition. I feel like if Nice gets another minute or two and can build up a bigger army, he's going to be okay. But right now, Nice is in a dicey position. Snute coming forward a little bit sloppily. There we go. The transfuses start to go down.
Yeah, a lot of those Hydras getting a bit ahead of themselves, but he has enough alongside those fungal growths and even a couple of infested Terrans who do really, really well versus
the Zerglings swing in at the same time. And that is a huge pick-off because Nice's economy is not all that great. His main base is starting to mine out of minerals right now.
He just lost his gold base. He just lost his attempted 4th base. He's going to be reduced back down to 2 bases. And Snute taking a commanding lead in terms of the economy. And now he just has to nail it with, I guess, the nail in the coffin here with a 1 solid engagement.
Yeah, I mean, the only fear here for Snute was that this composition of Roaches and Hydras kind of runs out of time. It becomes useless, like, later on, but Nice knocked back in economy. Nice is the one who has the pressure to push. He's got to do something to Snute. And in the open, these Queens are such a threat. We've got 2 Vipers out as well. They're already consuming energy. They want to get the Abducts down on those Colossi. Notice how Snute's pulling back, but he's got a few Abducts ready. He's going to start to grab those Colossi into the army. 2 of them do get pulled in. The Void Rays not really dealing out that much damage. The Transfuses are going to be landing all over this army, and I think there's just a little bit too much Zerg.
There's a lot too much Zerg right now as Snute just piles on forward. This is not an army that can be replaced. Where Prism Micro is Nice, and he does somehow manage to push Nice or Snute back a little bit, but for the most part, Nice is just running out of steam. He doesn't have enough of an economy to really even start mining. I mean, he's long distance mining from his 3rd. I think that just kind of says everything for itself.
Sick Prism Micro to save that 1 ready point Colossi. I got to take my hat off to Nice. You saw Snute kind of turn his army around and go for that, but Nice going to be coming in again. It's a little bit of a small army. There's so little support. It's mostly just these 3 Immortals, 3 Colossi. The Roach Hydra Swarm is holding him back for now, but you know what? Snute's work account, not all that high. Snute would love to get some extra bases up. This gold will be falling. Nice has got his own 3rd base back up behind this. Doesn't have the gases down on it yet. And it looks like Snute is going to come in with the Spellcasters. The Vipers say, get over here. Grab him into the middle of that. A nice hot pickup to save 1, but there's even Neural Parasite on the Archons. And that is devastating for Nice.
And there goes the whole army. There's the GG as Snute takes the first game in our first best of 3. Well done by, of course, Snute there, who we were a little bit worried. He's feeling a little tired and everything, but he says, no, I can handle a guy like Nice.
Yeah, I mean, a cool style when you think about it, right? You've got this map. A lot of players attempted to go for the gold for the 4th. They're attempted to kind of expand a little bit too fast. Hey, let's get out these multi-packs of Void Rays come in from both sides. Cool idea. Did not work out the way Nice was hoping, though. Going up to like 8 or 10 Void Rays and really just not finding the value for them at any point in that game. Canceling a 4th base 1 time, that's not enough. And Snute there, I mean, his style just seemed to be perfect for it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was what was said on the analysis desk. I don't think you can really just make a bunch of Void Rays against Snute because he plays so queen heavy. He's such a kind of delayed tech player. He doesn't like rushing the lair. He likes rushing out queens and economy. For him, he feels if he's got a large economy, he can branch that off into the tech, the upgrades, the unit compositions later on in the game, but it gives him the options. And as a reactive player, that's where Snute likes to sit. So you've really got to, I think, figure out what, at this point in the meta, Snute is saying, this is my kind of like center point, right?
Yeah.
Building a lot of queens, building a lot of this, and you got to say, look, maybe a massive Oracle is diving in that you've hidden, right? But a few Void Rays, showing it when you've only got 4 Void Rays out because you've got to use them to kind of protect your gold base, it wasn't able to find the damage. So I think Nice is clearly thinking about it there. You can kind of see him puzzling over it and saying, okay, what are we going to pull out in game number 2?
And I think that's a really great way of putting it, because do you agree that I don't really think that Nice is going to be the player that tries to do the same thing all these different games. I feel like he's going to be the player that tries to mix it up, throw as many confusing, strange, out-of-this-world situations at Snute and say, maybe you're not prepared for this one.
Yeah, I mean, the next map is going to be Catalyst, so a good map for some cannon rushes, as well as all sorts of other just kind of aggressive plays because the pushing distance is not so far on that map. You don't have the advantage of a defensive ramp on your natural or anything like that. And Nice decides to do the old... I feel like it's a pro gamer thing where they're powering up whenever they're holding the water in their mouth between the games, and they kind of do the fish mouth.
The fish mouth.
I feel like that's always like a pro gamer kind of like meditation ritual where you're like, all right, we're gonna get pumped up and ready for this next game. Any specific kind of cheeky builds you've seen from Protoss against Zerg lately?
Oh, man. I mean, there have been some pretty interesting ones. I know in GSL, we've had some pretty tricky charge lot all-ins where you take your gas geysers, but you don't actually mine from it. It's like, hey, look, I got my gas geysers.
There's so many variations of that as well, right?
Yeah.
It's so frightening.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't hate some of those kind of weird gateway all-ins. The one thing I really want to say that Nice did a great job of early on in the game, even if things didn't pan out in the end, he did a great job denying Snute of the scout. And And if he can continue to do that in these games, using the Adepts to keep Snute at home and keep those Lings at home, and then using the Stalker to move out on the map and start preemptively sniping off those Overlords, I think those are the kind of important things that Nice needs to make sure he keeps on top of, even in Game 2.
Yeah, I think that could make a very big difference if he can just kind of catch him off guard a little bit there and, you know, show us some different styles. We've seen some cool evolution in the Protoss vs Zerg meta recently. Don't know where Nice stands with that, but we've seen some 2 Stargate Phoenix play getting back in there, becoming a regular part of the stage. From Zergs, we've seen some cheeky builds as well. It's really funny, right? Because if I was looking at any other Zerg player, I'm like, okay, you've been stuck in like Washington Airport overnight. You've gotten here, you're exhausted. It's day one. It's like the marathon day. You've got to play so many games.
It's so funny.
I'd be like, you're going to cheese, right? You're going to Nidus worm. Like, there's some great Nidus builds against Protoss. Then I'm like, nah, it's Snute. It's Jens. He doesn't care. He's like, nope, I'm going to play the same style that I play. Like, I defend and I macro and I destroy people in the late game because that's how I play StarCraft.
Yeah, Snute is the guy who he'll qualify for a North American tournament that I'll run and a European tournament. And I'll say like, hey, when are you available and stuff? And he's like, oh, I'm available on this Saturday or something. I'm like, okay, so Saturday for the North American one, right? He's like, no, I want both of them on Saturday. I'm like, okay, you're sure? I can split them up if you want. It's going to be like 10 hours of StarCraft. He's like, no, I prefer them both to be on the same day. I get into a groove with it. I'm like, okay, man. And then he'll play the most defensive, super long-term macro kind of play ever. It's Snute's forte.
Endurance is all about that endurance, and he loves taking it to that situation that he is familiar with. Down here he is, guys, representing Team Liquid in the bottom right-hand side of the map. It is Snute.
So handsome.
Yeah, he's looking really, really focused lately.
All right, and spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, it is our red Protoss player, the meme master. He is Nice.
Is that what he's called?
I like to call him the meme. He's maybe the meme master apprentice because, you know, he's just below Haas in terms of the meme levels. Of course, they all bow down to Nathanius's memes, I'm sure.
Oh, of course. I mean, the Battlecruiser Lord himself. He's you know, he's been inventing some stuff. It is something which is cool because I want to see Nice take it to that next level. At the moment, he's in the kind of like pro gamer middle ground where you're like, you know, people know your name and you've had some like good qualifications.
Yeah.
But there's such a big gap where I think for the casual fans especially, you think, oh, maybe you've heard the guy's name once or twice, but like you don't really see the progression from there to that next stage. And then suddenly you'll see them make a round of 8 or a round of 16 and beat a few big names on the way. And I think Nice is maybe on that precipice, you know, a little bit away from that. I'd love this tournament to be the one where he kind of breaks out and shows what he's got. He did have a rough start in Group Stage 1. He did lose to Semper in a close series.
Semper's looking so good today, though, I've got to say. I was watching him a little bit earlier in Group Stage 1, so... No, not too much shame in that.
When Semper finishes his exams and like just knuckles down and practices, he is so good. So yeah, I can't wait to watch some of him later today as well.
All right. Well, it's worth noting that, of course, we didn't have any of that Cannon Rush stuff. I know you were mentioning how Catalyst can be a nice map for the Cannon Rush. And I also just really quickly want to mention, if this does go to a Game 3, since this is a best of 3, it is Lost and Found for the next map, which is another great Cannon Rush map.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely Lost and Found. We've been hearing a few stories about the spots on that, of course. The trick with these maps, and it's the same reason Catalyst is quite good, is you can wall off most of a cannon spot with just a single pylon. But we'll get into that later. I'm sure we're going to see some Cannon Rush PvP later in the tournament. For now, we are seeing a very typical Stargate opening. Adept, he delayed Warp Gate. Snute noticed the delayed Warp Gate, but he's left his Overlord at the front, and he has just spotted the second Adept coming across the map. So we should see Snute build maybe a couple more Zerglings. Yeah, 4 more Zerglings are going to queue up. So Snute not taking any chances against these Adepts. If Nice decides to dive those in, Snute is very ready with 10, 12 Zerglings. He's actually continuing Ling production. This is
well, he's a third Adept on the way also.
14 Lings. Oh, he's going to do a big counter pressure on that wall. Yeah, if he catches both of these Adepts, then he's just going to run straight across the map.
Adepts might actually get to see what units are popping out of those eggs, but it's target firing down. Oh, a little bit of miscontrol over there. The Adepts trying to target fire down a drone, but the Lings messing with them.
He's going to only get 2 drones, and there we go. These Zerglings coming in. They were trying to catch it. The gateway barely goes down in time. That next adept is only about halfway done. Nice realizes he's in trouble and immediately goes for the full wall off. He is going to take a bit of damage here. Now, this was not a huge commitment. It's just about 25 Zerglings, but that's going to be enough to tear down parts of this wall. And I would love to see Snute focus on that cyber core.
Oh, it's going to have a lot of...
Oh, there's a hole!
No, it's not a full wall!
There's a hole!
Oh my god, and now he's going after the probes. If he goes after the pylon as well, it's going to depower everything here, including warp gate technology. And he's not even going to go for it. He's just going to go straight over to the main base. The Oracle having to split up its time, taking out the Lings and the Natural, then has to waste time going over to the main base. But so many workers have already fallen. Snute saying, you know what, I might be known for my macro, but I can sneak in a quick one here and there.
I mean, that's exactly how Snute does it as well. He doesn't go all in, but he does all of the things that a master all-inner would do, but then he just goes back to droning half. When his Zerglings are only halfway across the map, he's already holding down that drone key, gets in, does this damage. And I mean, if this was a bigger commitment, you'd be like, oh, maybe Nice is okay, but look at that work account, look at that preparation. And Snute here looking very, very good in game number 2.
This is so difficult, Pig, because I feel as though when you are trying to do something tricky, usually you're doing that and it only really works because you still have at least some standard economy. If you're behind and you're trying to do something tricky, you just rarely have the actual resources to make those timings happen, to throw your opponent off and to do something that can actually sneak in a quick one on you.
So here we have the Artosis and Tasteless Pylons, and I guess that was no regret over there as well.
That was no regret.
And they're like, no, get out
making
here.
a hassle, blocking everything in.
And Roach Warren is on the way now for Snute, but Snute's had the kind of freedom. He's just delayed it so long. Third base is going down for Nice, but not in too timely a fashion. And is that a third Oracle or a second Oracle on the production die? I think
that's the third, yeah. That's the third Oracle.
Okay. And that's quite a commitment there.
Yeah, remember that, of course, making all those links does cost Snute the ability to make some of the earlier queens. It has to cut a lot of the other production. He's making a lot of roaches now. I'm not sure. Does he have his lair tech done?
Ooh, Zerglings coming in. A big wave on that third base. If he can get a cancel here, that's going to be massive. And the Zerglings wrap around those Adepts. A few more Adepts are warping in. Nice is going to fight very hard to defend that base. Good micro from the Taiwanese player. Does manage to defend that, but 6 queens marching across the map.
He spots it.
Oh, man. This is the thing, though. He's got to cancel the third, and he needs to build shield batteries on his natural right now. He's going to go DT Shrine. That's a smart decision from Nice. He recognizes this scenario. The problem here is he's invested in 3 Oracles. You know what's not good against 6 queens? It's 3 Oracles. You can make a dozen Oracles. They're still not going to be good against that.
I almost feel like stasis traps or something will be really nice here, because it's not exactly like there's going to be an overseer detecting the stasis traps. So Snute's going to have to be very careful if there are some down. He has to make sure he doesn't just run all of his queens in.
Only 1 shield battery going down. I feel like Nice is really banking on the DTs doing the damage here. He's actually building a Warp Prism rather than an Immortal as well. He's going to jump in, but he's focus firing the Spore Crawler. I don't know about that decision, Ravi. I feel like Nice here is missing an opportunity to do counter damage, and he's underestimated the strength of this pressure. He went ahead with the Warp Prism. Where's the Immortal?
Oh my god, there's no Immortal. The Oracles are on the other side of the map trying to do damage, but they only kill off 2 workers. And now Snute pushes forward with not only the Roaches, not only the Queens, but even some Ravagers in the mix. Can take out any of these gateways. Remember, this is the majority of the production.
Yeah.
The Dark Shrine is getting close to finishing. That is the reason why Nice is still in this game. He believes he can make a comeback off of that Dark Shrine.
It's not quite there, and there we go. 3 DTs warping in the front. Are the piles going to land on them? No, but one of them got cancelled as the pylon went down. We do have 2 DTs starting to work in at the same time. The Warp Prism has accidentally been pulled back across the map by Nice. Maybe pulling it to micro the Immortal, I'm not 100% sure, but that Warp Prism would have been so much more effective if it was warping in DTs into Snute's face right now.
It's not going to be very effective over here as he lands up picking up the Immortal and then loses it in the Warp Prism. Snute is starting to push forward, but he's eventually getting cleaned up by these DTs. The saving grace here for Nice, but has he taken too much damage? 6 workers have already died, and Snute is on a 4th base, and he's already getting up additional Spore Crawlers. All he really needs is that lair so he can get up those Overseers to deal with the DTs.
Yeah, what a nice push here from Snute. We talk about how this map is one where players like to be aggressive, and Snute here just showing such a good measure of aggression with macro behind it. I love it. It's just been spectacular play from the Norwegian. Zerg, showing why he is one of the very best.
You know what? I really like that Snute is also respecting the DTs. He's getting up 2 Spore Cars and bases, because let me tell you something, Pig. 4 DTs will kill a Spore Car really quick. But I think Nice is not going to even take that risk. He's already lost so much. He's just making Archons. He's making a War Prism. He's going to try and put on some pressure, because since the Lair Tech was delayed, losing the Oracle sucks.
Yeah.
But Lair Tech delayed means it's harder to deal with that Archon War Prism harassment as well.
That is true. You know, it's kind of unfortunate for Nice here, because I've been in the same situation where you see this push coming so early and you say, you know what? I think I got the tech to deal with it. In this case, he thought it was the DTs.
Oh, kept the probe alive.
But I definitely think, you know, Nice, looking back on this, he's going to be kind of saying, why didn't you just build an Immortal? Why didn't you build a second shield battery? You know, get a Sentry mixed in there as well. You warp in a Sentry early enough, a few Force Fields buys so much time. And if he does that and then adds the Warp Prism a little bit later, you've still got this much cleaner hold of your natural, but then you're hitting with the DTs on the other side. And also, of course, the Oracle's focusing the Spore rather than the drones. I think a little bit of missed opportunities, and that is because Snute put him in a position where he had to do so much in such a narrow window of time. Didn't quite live up to the task.
Yeah, I'm honestly even just surprised they didn't try and do things like the stasis traps just to buy time. Even if they don't catch a lot of units, just being able to do something like that may have been able to buy him some time.
Well, if you like force field the front ramp with like a stasis trap as well.
Yeah.
Like, if you manage to catch the queens on that, the Zerg has to stop and break the rocks. It takes them so long to get up there.
An extra 20 seconds or 30 seconds of just complete delay. And remember, it was a battle against time for the DTs. DT's going to come in over here. There's 2 Spore Cars, so there's no way detection's going away anytime soon. He gets a full surround with it, with drones, awkwardly enough, but 5 workers, that's not a bad start. It's just not enough yet.
That's a lot of Roaches and Ravages. Roach speed and +1 is not quite done, but Snoot's not going to bother waiting. He knows his numbers are just overwhelming right now. Nice hot pickups from Nice, trying to save these units, but it's just not enough. The numbers are so far in Snoote's favor, and these units not able to make it happen. GG.
2-0 for our lovely Zerg player Snute, as he moves on to that winner's match in his group. He's going to be feeling really good about this. I know that, again, we were talking about how he's had a bit of a rough couple of 24 hours, but he's still making it work.
Absolutely. He's got a couple of Zergs waiting for him ahead, of course, and I mean, there's a lot of Zergs in general in this tournament, but he's a player who's very solid. He's found his way through that winner's match. Nice. Unfortunately, not able to clinch it there, but that's okay. He's going to be going through, have some more chances.
Yeah.
And a lot of Protoss versus Zerg for him in this group. So he's going to have a chance to kind of mix up his strategies, hopefully pull some curveballs out, not get too predictable.
Silky and sort of also in the group, so 2 more Zergs, like you said. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're hopping over to the main stage with Sue. See how Snute is doing.
Thank you very much, Ravi. Congratulations, Snute. I know you didn't have the easiest journey getting here to Austin, but that being said, you're currently 6-0. So are you taking some solace in the fact that you're having a great start here?
Yeah, I've been struggling a lot lately, but the new maps are helping. I've been doing better on them for some reason. So I feel very tired from the travel. I look very tired, so I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I'll do my best, and I'm very happy to have such a strong start to the tournament.
Well, I know for a fact there are definitely a lot of Snute fans in the audience right now. I know you just said that you were struggling for a little bit. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? How has the time been after your previous lands?
Yeah, so I didn't have the best BlizzCon. I wasn't feeling too well at BlizzCon. And after that, there was WSG and the IEM Pyeongchang. And I had to play for the Nordic qualifier spots, and I got matched up against Cyril. I got second place in both. And I couldn't go to any of those tournaments. Like, I couldn't get anywhere, and I lost a little bit of motivation and started having some negative thoughts. Like, yeah, if I'm not good the way that Cyril is good, then what's the point? But, you know, I don't want to be thinking that way, so I'm here still.
I'm sure the fans in Austin are very, very happy to see you. And of course, if you do want to move forward to that group stage 3, you have to get through your next match. It's going to be either between Sort of or Silky, 2 Zerg players. So what do you think about your Zerg versus Zerg right now?
I used to struggle CVC, but again, on the new maps, I've been doing better. So I'm actually enjoying CVC a little bit more.
Sounds great. Congratulations again on that 6-0 start. Let's head back to Nathanius at the desk.
Thank you very much, Smix, as we just saw a nice series to kick things off here. Snute showing up in good form, taking advantage of opportunities and defeating his first opponent in nice.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of a funny story, by the way. Snute came straight from the airport here. He had a 16-hour delay travel coming over from Europe, which is already a long trip anyways. So when Snute says he's tired, and it's kind of funny because usually in an interview he's one of the first ones to be like, I'm tired. But in this one he's like, yeah, everything's going pretty okay. I'm trying to be more positive right now. And this would be the time not to be. But he just had the easy time that we thought he would. Nice. Had some cute ideas. I like the Adept Void Ray in that game #1 in theory. But he was kind of rushed. He had a couple of canceled shades into a lot of queens and roaches, so it just kind of wasn't executed very well, and that's kind of what I thought would happen to him.
I would have loved to see it in game #1 if he would have prioritized getting queens a little more. It felt that from time to time he was even like trying to
targeting them.
Yeah, targeting.
Yeah, okay.
No, Snute obviously got plenty of queens, like we expected him and we predicted him to get. But I think if you open up with that many adepts, Void Rays, let's be honest, Void Rays are not the best unit, especially not in straight-up fights. They can, however, be good if you can catch your opponent off guard. Let's say the queen count is low. So the adepts, you know, if they would have prioritized getting some queens rather than the drones, then maybe you can somehow be like, surprise, surprise, 4 Void Rays. And normally, I don't recommend it, but I can see where he was going with it. But yeah, against Snute, if you don't kill any queens, the queen count is going to be too high, and queens happen to be pretty good against Void Rays.
Yeah, Snute on top of his game. I do believe we're going to take a look at some of the groups that we have now as Snute takes the first win in his. Feeling pretty good. And as we look at the next one, a laser in Namshar starting off strong versus Lambo and Zanster.
I must say, Namshar taking that first best of 3 over Lambo. He's been in Korea, has been really grinding out the games and has obviously been looking good. Lambo had a good showing in Leipzig as well. Let's not forget about that. He took out Neep back then. So obviously nothing is decided yet in this group because it's 4 Zergs. They can all beat each other at any given moment. But that's a big victory for Namshar.
And Zanster Lambo for elimination here, just in the second group stage, is pretty severe.
2 friends who have lived together for over a month. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, that's smart. But I think a lot of people are looking forward to seeing a laser play. Group B, Harstam and TLO coming out on top to kick things off. So, I mean, a lot of people, we talk about Harstam, I know. The Dutch connection, Roddy. I know you're always cheering for your boy. He's doing well.
He's been looking good lately. I think in Nation Wars he had an absolutely fantastic showing, right? Why are you giggling? Come on, can I not say that he was...
When are you going to say a Dutchman's not looking good?
No. Mate, he went like freaking 19-2 or something in Nation Wars.
Yeah, but those 2, you know? Those 2,
no, it doesn't matter.
Sarah went like 21-0 and 5 or something. Probably.
And those 5, right? No, Harstam has definitely been looking in shape lately. I know he's been very motivated to get to this tournament. He said, like, man, it's been a while since I really had the opportunity to travel by myself other than Nation Wars. This is not an easy group at all, but yeah, winning that first series is obviously a big deal. So we're already taking a look at Group C, where we've got all
Americans struggling. Americans struggling here. Jon Snow, Panda Bear Me at the bottom, while Bly and Nurchio are going to face off in a will probably be a very, very ugly, aggressive ZVZ to get out of this group.
It's another 4-man Zerg group. The Europeans in their ZVZ have always been really good, even by Korean standards, so it's no surprise there.
Yeah. And looking at Group D, Semper and DNS coming out on top so far against Raze and Future. This would have been a Terran-heavy group, but Raze, of course, he used to be a Terran, now he's a Protoss, but not doing so well there. Silky and Snute are going to have a ZVZ to see who gets out. So Silky, the American, taking down Rickard Mechanics Birdman.
And earlier, I gotta say, I gotta give credit's due. It was Jeff that was talking about Silky having a chance to really, you know, just kind of show up these guys. And it was, Kevin was kind of, he was like, no, man, sort of's European. I'm like, Kevin, keep your eye out for Silky, man. He can do it.
There's at least 3 people out there that believe this right now.
Silky's been super active. I know it did. Don't quite recall the challenge results yet, but he was also doing very well in the TESPA Collegiate Series just before all this. So he's been playing a lot. Interesting to see that. Him getting out of this group, I think, would definitely be something cool to see as we go to Group F, where Cyan is leading the way, and I guess we're waiting for our next result between Showtime and Clem. Clem had a very long match.
Yeah, how cool is this, by the way, guys? This is the first official big WCS event for Clem. 16-year-old. I think his birthday was a month or 2 ago. He was still too young to participate in Leipzig.
Can't even take his picture.
He's finally, he's too young.
His picture's actually just below that. They're like, can you stand on your tippy toes? Like, no.
I look at this group, and I think that's a doable group for Clem, right? To be the runner-up. What, you don't think so? Who's going to beat Clem there other than Showtime?
With Cuddle Bear taking that early loss there, it's wide open.
And in Group G, BioIce leads the way as he defeats Tesla, an American Protoss player. Meanwhile, True and Stefano locked in battle in a ZVZ. I think those 2 players.
Or Stefano. He gets these ZVZs, man. He must be really hating how good Zerg's been lately because he's just getting all. he's in really good form right now. But ZvZ has just always been
a lot of ZvZ
tough matchup
in this tournament happening right now, but not in Group H, where Mana and Soul are leading the way. Warren and Rex down 0-1. Well, they'll have to play ZvZ to decide who gets eliminated, but Mana Soul should be a great matchup.
Yeah, but if, like you were saying, a very safe group. Yeah. I don't think Warren or Rex are up to the snuff of eliminating either of those guys. So,
I think the 2 Polish players will advance here. It would be a massive upset to see either of them go out.
Yeah. Who do you like between the 2 of them?
Soul.
Soul.
Yeah. Mana's very good, and Mana did take out Optimus in that first group stage, and Optimus has been looking really good.
Optimus is looking really good. Real good.
No, I think Soul has a small edge there over Mana, but I don't think either of them is going to be super stressed about it because I think they are a level above the other 2 players in that group. You know, it was really funny, by the way, because I was looking at the all Zerg group that we just had. We had Bly, Nurchill, Jon Snow, and then we had Penabemi, right? And I was like, that group looks really familiar. And just a couple months ago, in WESG, you had Bly, Nurchill, and Jon Snow also in the same group in that tournament in China. Just the 4th player back then was Nemchar, but also a Zerg. So Nemchar, Penabemi. Oh, I think that's
a lot of these Zergs having some success.
Don't worry,
In Control, guys out
don't
there.
worry, In Control, and don't worry, viewers, because our next matchup won't have a Zerg player in it. We're going to have Semper going up against DNS. So get your Marauders, get your Blink Stalkers ready for some Terran versus Protoss. Fun match, excited?
French-Canadian versus a Frenchman. It's a little bit of the colony versus the colonized.
Will they say GLHF in English In Control?
No, most certainly not. They're French. They're going to say really mean stuff.
All right. Well, any quick thoughts before we go to break, Kev?
No, this looks like a great matchup. I was actually hoping that we're going to do this one as well because it's a North American versus a European. DNS is that one player that we still expect to make a really deep run, not like a quarterfinals or a round of 16, but finally a top 4. And Semper, well, we all know how good Semper can be.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's like a coin flip for him. There's a good side, a bad side. We'll see what shows up.
There's been a quiet Semper train rolling in the North American scene. Let's see what he can do. That's our next match. You're watching the World Championship Series.